Welcome back everyone to another episode of Fabled Talks Podcast, and today we have a very special guest. He's the vocalist of the Nagaland band Polar Lights. Is Mr. Jamir. Sorry,
Jamir.
I fucked up the whole thing. Let's do it again. Take 2. Welcome everyone to another episode of Fabled Talks Podcast, and this is me, Abhilash Singh, and my co-host.
I will have to say my name. Yes. Okay, Along Phom.
Why did we do this?
And my name is Jamir, and I'm the lead singer of Polar Lights.
Woo! Ooh. Okay.
Finally, we are doing this.
Yes, we have been avoiding conversation since yesterday. We arrived here yesterday, and we have been trying our hardest not to talk to each other. So, talk about yourself now. You have the freedom now.
No, but last night, to all the listeners, we are going to talk about all the things. But then last night we had a very wonderful listening session. Now we are at Jam Studio 11. As you can see from our ambience, that it's very different from the last podcast we have done.
We've upgraded, but it's only for one episode, so don't have your hopes high.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Mar, for being here. And
no problem, man.
And
shit, man, this feels awkward, man. I don't
why?
know.
Why?
Already?
Yeah,
no,
man.
we have been
Already?
We have been.
I mean, if there's no cameras, I can like just go on.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah, just look at us. Don't even look at the camera.
Yeah.
It's fine. Everything is fine.
No camera.
Talk about your new album that's coming out.
What do you want to know?
I want to know, like, you said that a certain song was stuck in like since 2014. And
Oh yeah, that is actually the last song.
Yeah.
The Perfect View. I
Also-
think we have the track list out already.
Huh.
So that song was actually, we wrote that song back in 2014. I think Along he knows very well about that song.
Yeah.
Because I wrote that song based on some
Conversation
things,
we had.
conversations that both of us had back.
Yeah.
I think we were still in college.
We are going through a lot. He was going through a lot. I was in Punjab. He was
I was in Bangalore.
So we had a call, and then probably I didn't know that he wrote a song, but later on he told me, oh, after our conversation I came up with a song. So
And you
So-
heard the song last night, and how do you feel about it?
man, they did a brilliant job. I think it was worth the wait.
Huh. But I think you heard it before also.
Yeah, I heard it
The-
before,
the
but
earlier,
it was
the
very
demo
different.
version,
Actually, it was very different from
Very
what
different,
I heard initially.
So that song we recorded that song. We tried doing so many things to it, as in approaching it in so many different directions sonically, but we were never able to. I was never really satisfied with what the song became, like back in 2014. Uske baad, during one of our pre-production sessions this year, so that song was not supposed to be on the album, Perfect View. So during one of our pre-production sessions, our drummer Bandangma, who is sleeping there, he suggested that we put the song into the album. So at first I was because we tried doing so many things to it. So I was like, in my mind I was like, I don't think this will work again, because we've tried it so many times.
Yeah.
We were never able to just figure out how we wanted the song to sound like.
Achha.
So this time during one of our pre-production sessions, Bandangma, our drummer, he suggested that we add the song into the album as well. And I think after a couple sessions just working on it, and actually there's a worship song. It's a Christian song. There's a song called Miracles, I think. Oh no, Million Little Miracles.
Okay.
So I heard that song and I really liked how they approached that, the way they went about with the song. So I took the song. I mean, I sent the link to my brother who produces our music, and I sent it over to him. And because I've been trying to explain to him how I wanted the song to sound like, but he was never really able to, figure out what I was telling him also. And I sent that song, that Million Little Miracles, to him, and from there he got the idea of how we should move with the song. And after a couple more sessions, I think once he was done with the guitars and just putting his magic into the song, that's what became of Perfect View. And I think that's a good way to end the album as well. Just like last night we were talking about, the album, Along, he knows very well that we've been writing the album for a very long time. It's been, I think, 4.5 years. I think more than that. Consciously, like, consciously I began writing the album 4.5 years back.
Okay.
But some of the songs on the album were actually, say, some could be a little over 5 years or so.
Yeah.
And with Perfect View, to end the album with Perfect View was, as if we were coming full circle. We started with we started with Perfect View and ending the album with Perfect View after all these 4.5 years of going through so many things. And now that we finished the album, we're finally there. And I feel like the view looking back is great, very beautiful. So I think that's a good way to end the album as well. So that's basically the story behind that song.
Okay. So when the album comes out, before people listen to it.
22nd. Oh.
No,
Acha.
Okay, the album comes out on 22nd, we know that.
Yes.
Okay, so like before the album comes out, before people listen to it, is there something that you want people to keep in mind before listening to the whole album?
I think the album is basically, it's about embracing change and life through the eyes of the four of us in the band. So I think everyone will have their own interpretation of what the song is, because I don't want to steer our audience into a direction where this song has to be the stories. There are a lot of stories behind the songs, but I just want to leave it to our audience's minds to just find their way around the album and just have their own interpretation on what the songs are.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we were also discussing last night, that you were saying that you had a listening session in Kohima as well, and then you were saying there are mix of,
exactly, yes.
How the people who have listened, some of them would like different tracks, and people in people who listened last night would like different tracks.
Yeah,
so
I think on the album we have songs for everyone.
There is not a single favorite. We mean to say. That.
I think Perfect View, I think most of the people enjoyed Perfect View, the final song, the last song. Again, I think I've been getting calls and messages from my friends, because we shared the album with just friends and people we've known for quite some time, and some of them they'll like one song, the other, and I think that's a great that's
the whole album is being received well.
Very well, yes. Yeah. Everyone, they have their own personal favorite. Some like this, some like that. So I think that's.
So do you have a favorite song from the album?
Yeah, there's a song called Electric.
Okay.
So that's one of my favorites. Favorites as in our band, we really enjoy playing that live, and our band is we focus a lot on our live performances and all of that. No, so I think Electric has got to be one of those songs that all of us enjoy playing live. So that's one of my favorite Electrics. And maybe Trojan as well, the fifth song. I think Along, he enjoyed that a lot.
Yes, I found it very refreshing. So I don't know if I had listened to that song as a single song, but then when you listen to the entire album,
with the track list,
with the track list, that I found that song to be very refreshing, very I don't know how to I put it in words.
Not very Polar Lights.
Yeah, not very Polar Lights, exactly. Yeah, that was something a bit more experimental.
Yeah. Exactly, yes. Because Along and me, we listen. Although I play, people will define us as a alternative rock band. But I listen to a lot of different genres of music, from hip hop to just very weird.
Well.
Yeah, I've heard him freestyling around the house. So we are staying at his house. He's been very generous.
He's very hospitable.
Yes. He let us sleep on his bed and he slept on the floor. Okay, go listen to his album. Buy his album on Apple Music.
No, I think most of the artists that has come to Nagaland from outside, most of them have come to his house and stayed in his place.
Okay.
He's a very good host in that way.
I mean, that began, I think, when we started doing Sofar
Sounds. Yes.
Because Sofar Sounds Dimapur, we do it along and us before pandemic hit.
So talk about that chapter, about the Sofar chapter of you guys.
Acha, so Sofar, actually, Along, he came up with the idea of doing Sofar Sounds. So he found out who Sofar Sounds were and the YouTube. I had no idea what Sofar Sounds was back then. So Along, he called me up. He's like, bro, there's this community where they do very intimate shows, and we can sign up and be, the, what do you call those? City partners, curators. You can curate Sofar Sounds in Dimapur. So Along and me, we decided that we'll do it.
Yeah.
Because we had no intentions of making money or for our monetary gain. But we wanted to do it first of all because that would expand our networking. We'll get to know a lot more people, and that's how I met some of my friends as well. From there's this guy called Vishal Kore. So he's a very good friend of the band. He's been curating a lot of shows for us as well in Bombay, Bangalore. That's how we met him. Then Tejas, he's a singer-songwriter from Bombay. Then Mali. Who's the other guy? Oh, that Australian Sri Lankan guy.
I forgot it.
Larry T. Hill.
Larry T. Hill.
Okay.
We got to know a lot. We got to know a lot of people through Sofar Sounds. Although we weren't able to make any money.
Yeah.
But I think it's better if you get to know more people because
it's better to earn people than earn money.
Yeah. It's better to build relationships, no? So I think because of Sofar we were able to go out on tour because through Sofar I met Vishal and he curated all of our shows, especially in the cities, and so I think that was something we really enjoyed doing.
I think after Dimapur, the guys from Imphal, Lennon, they started it. Okay. And after that, the Shillong guys did it. But I don't know if they're still doing it. But now, recently, Guwahati chapter has started. But in Northeast, I think it's very difficult to do it, consistent, like monthly.
Exactly. Because there are only a handful of
artists who write songs.
Who writes original music, especially. And so in Nagaland, we did shows with Abdon, Imliakam, myself as well in Koima, and Tutan, Jonathan and Peleno, yes, Jonathan's elder sister. Yeah, then teachers, not so much.
Yeah,
I think we were able to do just 5 to 6 shows. I think. Okay. But just doing those 5 to 6 shows, we got to know a lot of people.
Yes.
Okay. So when you do live shows, like what has been your favorite city to play in?
Favorite city, I think.
The best crowd ever.
I know.
Best crowd, I think.
I know.
We did one in Pune. Okay. And there was a Sofar Sounds gig.
Yeah.
Okay. In Pune. So we did our so we played High Spirits the night before. Then because we were supposed to do 2 shows in Pune. So this was back in 2019. So we played High Spirits on, I'm not sure about the date, but it was in September or October.
Okay.
Then we did Sofar the next day. Achha. And funny thing, when before going out on tour, we were practicing because you'll have to change the entire because Sofar Sounds is very intimate and it's supposed to be like
stripped down
acoustic. Okay. So our guitarist, my elder brother, he's very reluctant to doing those type of shows.
Okay.
So while practicing, we'd always have altercations, not physical, but just
back and forth.
Back and forth. Like he did not want to do Sofar, but I pushed, and I think the rest of the guys did as well. But in Sofar, when we did Sofar Pune, we did it with As We Keep Searching. I think they're one of the biggest post-rock bands and they're good friends as well. So we did it with them, and I think especially our songs, it's while I'm writing my song, it's a very intimate and a very personal thing to me with songwriting. So I think while doing the Sofar Sounds gig in Pune, I think we connected very well with the audience. So it was very I think it felt very personal. And it sounded exactly like when I was writing the songs. I wanted to have that connection with the audiences, and while doing live shows, big ones, sometimes it's very hard to connect with the audience because everything's so loud and everyone's moving about, especially on alcohol as well sometimes. So with that type of setting, that format, it's very intimate. Everyone's like yesterday, the
full attention.
Full attention is given to the band, and you can connect with the audience like directly. It's very personal. So I think that was one of my favorite shows.
Okay. And you said like the connection with the audience. You talked about the connection with the. So do you write your songs with live performance in mind?
With this album, not really.
Okay.
Especially with the music and with the instruments, with the guitars and all, we tend to, I think we focus on live performances with the music, with how we approach. But like with the songwriting, I have no set of rules where, while writing a song, I don't want it to be like, oh, I'll have to write a song for live performances, or I don't want to have to follow a certain set of rules. I just want to go like, I want it to be very genuine, just come. Sometimes I write very, mellow and very emotional songs, but once it's on the album, it's sometimes it's like that.
And also one time I saw him with lots of badges was like drawn all over his room. Then I was asking, what are you writing? And he said he's writing songs, like you're scripting down in many pages. I don't know what song was he writing, but then.
So what song were you writing?
Yeah, he wrote as if he was writing an essay. Like,
because sometimes I do that when I'm having writer's block.
Oh,
so if I'm not able to come up with lyrics, I just jot down whatever that's in my mind, whatever that's in my brain. I just keep on writing, and eventually I'll come to a point where, I think this line looks good in a song. So I have this line right now. So I don't know if I'm gonna put it into a song or not, but I think it connected with me very well. So the line goes, the line was, I've learned to fear less and feel more.
Okay. Learned.
So that's very deep if you think about it. So I think that's something our audience can expect later in our songs
singles
as well.
Or music video.
So every time I'm driving or I'm doing anything, and sometimes these lyrics come to me, I'll just write it down in my
Yeah, I saw you writing as well yesterday.
Yeah.
When we were on the train, he was writing things, and then I was asking what you're writing, and then
lyrics.
He shows me.
Yeah, I scribble a lot.
Same. That's the same thing, yeah.
But mine is more on the phone than on paper, actually. So you also said like other genres. So do you plan to branch out and do other genres?
No, he actually did.
No, I did a couple songs.
Like a whole project.
I do want to do an album, just a solo album.
Okay.
So during pandemic, he worked on a song, right?
I did. I put out 2 songs during pandemic. So one was Dear Me.
Dear Me.
So that's sort of J. Cole-ish type instruments, J. Cole-ish type beats, but with actual guitars and drums. Then I put a song out with Vitz. He's a producer from Koima. So I asked him for a beat, and I did a song with him as well. And I have a couple more solo projects that I've been working on. Hopefully I get to do that once we're done with the album cycle. And
what about this one tour after the
tour?
album?
Actually, we were supposed to go out on tour in October this month. But I think that did not make sense. I had a conversation with Vishal, and he told me that because there's so many festivals happening right now in the city as well, Durga Puja, Diwali and all that, no?
Christmas is coming.
So he suggested that we just focus on marketing the album this year. Then maybe do a couple shows, say like the Hornbill, and if we get called for the Hornbill, then our plan is to go out on tour next year during, say, February, March, during that time.
Okay.
And so our plan is to go to cities, because we've been to Bombay, Bangalore, Pune, then Delhi, Shillong, Guwahati as well. So this time we wanted to do shows in Hyderabad, then maybe Kolkata, Chennai.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we can find,
you can actually go to Darjeeling. I think Darjeeling
I think we
has a
can
good
do
scene
some
there.
shows in Darjeeling as well. And Sikkim, Gangtok.
Yeah, Gangtok.
And do you plan on going anywhere outside India yet?
Right now, if we get the opportunity, of course.
Why not?
If we know someone that knows someone that knows someone, will do it.
If the network is good enough. True.
That's exactly like, in order to do shows outside, I think you need to know someone. Of course, your product has to be good.
Yeah.
But you need to know someone that knows someone that knows someone.
Do you have a goal stage that you want to be on, perform?
I think not really, man. I just want to.
Or you want to perform with anybody, like, you know? any
perform with
artist?
anybody. I'd like to perform with Foo Fighters,
Oh,
Dave
Foo
Grohl,
Fighters.
Okay. And do you like
and maybe Coldplay. I don't know.
Okay.
I like how they put how they
live
do
shows
live
are-
shows. Yeah.
I think they have one of the greatest live shows now.
But if I was like not exactly perform with the Foo Fighters, but if I can, just sit down and have a conversation with Dave Grohl,
Yeah.
say like for an hour, do a podcast with him, man.
pick his brains? Yeah.
Yeah, if you get, after this album, if you become popular and if you happen to meet him, please
Shit, man,
talk to
fuck.
us about our podcast so
Tell
that
him there's a podcast from Northeast.
Fabled
we can
Fabled
count
Talks.
that podcast.
So we do it in a studio in Dimapur.
No, we change places. We'll travel anywhere you want to be.
We're very flexible. If you want us to come
Yes.
to the States, of course he has to.
But
to
we
pay.
do steal your equipment.
Yeah.
So these all stands, the cameras, it's all provided by him. So a big thank you to
Jam Studio.
Jam Studios.
Studio,
Yeah. Jam Studio is based out of Dimapur.
Yeah.
So anybody who wants to record songs, record their
Huge
album,
PR, plug,
they can
plug.
come
Do a whole camp here, like
here.
a month long.
So this was actually the room that we recorded all of our songs in.
Oh, we have
Okay.
privileged it.
So this is the drums area. Then my vocals, I did it there. So
Okay.
this is where To Feel Human was born.
Yeah. We are privileged to be sitting in this.
Yes, very much.
Also, yesterday we were like things comes out and then we were saying, oh, let's keep it for podcast.
Yeah.
And remember we were talking about this Murder Mission.
Ha.
If I don't know if you have heard it or not, Murder Mission was the first song.
It was the first song that we put out.
Yeah.
And it sort
And-
of with that song, I think it sort of put us in a pedestal where everyone was watching.
Yes.
And everyone had very high expectations of Polar Lights back then,
Yes.
especially with that once the song was out.
Everyone, when I shared the song, everyone, were saying like, oh, which country are they from? And I was saying that, oh, they are from Dimapur. And then they were saying in Naga, it's like, Misano Gobi. You understood, right?
Yeah.
Don't lie. I have to convince. No, actually, he is my friend. He's my classmate. We studied together back in like St. John. I was telling them, like, we were in college, right? You wrote the song when we were in college.
I think this is back in 2013.
2013.
So I wrote Murder Machine before Polar Lights. So I've been writing songs even before. Polar Lights
during class 12.
Yeah.
You have written a song.
I
for
wrote a song called
Reckless.
Reckless. So we had this
baby.
competition because I think back then Billboard, the charts were very famous, no? So I wrote a song called Reckless. Then a friend of mine, he wrote a song called G Baby.
Ooh.
So and we had this just banter among all the friends that Reckless was on number 1, but once G Baby was produced and came out, G Baby, like, he eclipsed what Reckless was able to do with.
So you guys had your own charts.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But it was just those 2 songs.
Oh man. And also, like, talk about your time with him. Like,
We met in high school,
secondary.
high secondary. So we studied in St. John's, Dimapur together. So we used to be classmates. As in, we had 3 sections, A, B, C, and I think we were in B.
Yeah.
Then I think class
11th
standard, we never
much.
really hanged like.
okay.
I think we knew each other. We were like very comfortable with one another, but not the relationship that we have right now. So even 12, I think we sort of
at the end part, like when
during
we
the
were
end.
just about to
So
leave.
after our 12, as in during December,
People.
along me and two of our friends, we decided to stay in a PG and
during our Christmas vacations.
Christmas vacations. So we were like very, what do you call those, nerds back then?
Yeah,
Geeks.
studios.
Geeks. So we were like, so we decided that we wanted to study during our
Christmas.
holidays.
That's a scam. Sorry,
So,
parents.
Sorry. We wasted your fees money.
So we stayed in a PG together, I think, and that was when we built our relationship, as in to the
Yeah, we got to know each other very well.
Very well.
So and then
we sort of had this very similar taste in music.
Yes, that was supposed to
And
say.
also how our perspective on what the world was, just the
So-
conversations that the two of us would have, it was very, I think we connected a lot on those types, especially with music.
For me, my therapy would be sometimes just come down to Dimapur when I'm having hard time in my life. Just sit with him, talk. That, it helps me a lot. Sometimes it gives me new perspective on things. That's what I keep on saying to my juniors or my niece and nephew that I meet. No, you don't need too many friends in life.
Yeah.
You don't need too many companies.
I think you just need that one person.
That you can actually connect with, and share anything.
You can share anything and everything.
And be yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When
I
I'm
think
with
that's
him,
very important.
The most important thing, yeah.
Like most of our friends, like when we are in front of them, we always, have to be very careful of what they say or what we have to say in front of them. I'm not like that with him. I can be myself, he can be himself.
Yeah.
So that's what's very important.
I think my friend circle is very small. I only have a couple of friends, Along and the band members. And I think that's pretty much, and some friends in Kohima as well. But I try and keep my circle small. I know I know a lot of people, but I don't want to be.
You don't hang out and you don't.
Because I'm not into.
Much. You're a party animal.
I'm not a party animal.
You're a rock star, bro. You should be.
I don't drink that much. I mean, I drink casual sometimes, but
you're not a drinker.
Nah.
Okay. But that's what I like about him.
Okay.
He knows where
to me,
to
I think
put his
conversations are
limits.
more important than.
Yes.
Of course, sometimes it's good to have fun and just
laugh.
party and all that. But I like to have, just even during parties. No, I think Along will know me. So once if I meet someone that I can have a good conversation with, the entire night I'll be with him only, just talking about things.
Yeah.
And
Learn
if
something new.
If there's a party, I'll just leave.
Yeah. Okay.
It's always been the case.
I get.
So some people, they call me, this guy every time party killer or party.
Party
nobody actually. I feel like nobody wants to hang out with me because I'm like, if it's 10 p.m, I usually go home. I don't stay very late and all that. No?
Most of things happen during their concerts, like around in Kohima, Dimapur or anywhere. So the bandmates would like to hang out.
Exactly.
Most of the time.
Okay.
After, their
you're not there.
performance.
No.
It's like,
I'm
I'm
sleeping.
exhausted. I just want to go home.
Even during shows and all that, when we're doing performances, after a performance, I usually go straight wherever, like say we're playing a show in Pune. After the show, I'm back in the hotel. I'll take a hot shower and just sleep, or maybe just look at Sidemen videos.
Big up the Sidemen. So one reason for him coming on the podcast is because he heard me mention in one of our episodes.
Yeah.
So we were also holding back on discussing the Sidemen. Maybe we can for a bit.
We can, man.
Yeah.
We can, like how.
So how long have you been watching the Sidemen?
So I've been watching KSI for longer than the whole Sidemen.
And how did you find out about KSI?
The Logan Paul fight. The first
Logan Paul
first
fight.
KSI versus. Actually, I watched the Joe Weller fight.
Okay.
And after that, when he called out Jake Paul,
so
Logan Paul.
prior to the Joe Weller fight, did you know? Have you did you know anything?
I watched the build up a bit, and after I watched the fight, and after that I'm like following him.
Okay. Because I've been watching KSI probably since 2012.
So you heard Lamborghini?
Yes. So because KSI is an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
So there was this a rant that it did on YouTube about Van Persie leaving Arsenal.
Okay.
So the video that he put out on YouTube, it went viral. That's how I found out about KSI and just his YouTube channel. Then I started watching him. Then slowly by slowly, the Sidemen, Fixstar and all that. No.
Okay.
Along has no clue about what the.
I mean,
no, I know Sidemen and all
I
the
keep
stuff.
The Sidemen now is a global brand.
Yeah, I
But
keep
then-
showing him memes and stuff. But
I don't follow them like I follow some of the
you're more
guys.
serious.
I'm not more serious.
He's-
I
so-
watch South Park. Just to tell people that I'm not serious. I watch South Park. I
We call
watch
him the.
Family Guy.
So we work in a social media. So we call him the father of our social media team. he's like a dad of the room.
Man, I never knew that I would be like fatherly figure for
You're
people.
so somber in office. Is he always like that?
He's always like this.
He's very somber and
I know.
kind and stuff.
Oh man, thank you. I don't know if it's I think it's a compliment. So thank
It
you.
is.
It is.
Obviously it is. So we were talking about the Sidemen yesterday and like their content and how it differs, and also the short attention span content like reels and shorts and all that. So what are your thoughts on the attention span of people becoming less and less, and the urge to watch longer form of content becoming lower and lower?
But I think that's with technology, and with technology, I think that's how all of us.
Even for musicians.
I think right now, especially even with the albums, I don't think a lot of people will listen to
the whole album. Yeah, I was about to say.
Maybe the singles that we put out with the music video and all that. So that is exactly why we wanted to do a session as well, album. So we wanted to get friends and just listen to the album, and because I remember growing up I studied in Shillong. So I remember growing up and just buying my first CD. So during one of our outings in Shillong, so I studied in a boarding school, St. John's, Whitehall. So during one of our outings, I'd gone to, so our wardens, they took us to Police Bazaar.
Okay.
So back then there was this place called Planet M. I don't know if you know Planet M. I think they have it in
it was in Dimapur.
So it was because all the music, usually music and the original ones, you get it at Planet M. So I'd gone down to Planet M and bought myself this album by Sum 41 Chuck.
Okay.
So it's still to this, I don't know where the CD is, but it's still to this day one of my favorite albums. So I remember, I couldn't wait to get back to the hostel and start listening to the album.
Yeah.
Because back then listening to albums used to be a lot more, in a way, physical as well. Because you had to go buy the album from the store, come back, take the wrapping out, then you take out the covers and then you read the entire thing, no?
Yes.
So it used to be a whole experience, but these days we don't have it.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that we can't control. So.
But as an artist, as a songwriter, how important would you say it is for listeners to listen to a whole body of project at once, like sequentially, how the artist intended it to be? How important is that?
I think it's very important because I think that's what they put. I think we put a lot of work into the album. Why the first song is the first one. Why the last song is the last one. There's a whole storyline behind doing all of that. No, so I think it's important that people listen to it, but it's something that we can't control also.
But yeah, that's what I keep on saying. I'm someone who still listens to the entire album. I like to listen. So if I find a music or I find an artist, then I just go to his albums and then I start listening all the way from the the latest
discography.
Discography. Yeah. So it's almost like reading a book. Because there are chapters. Every song has their own individual, uniqueness. So it's like a chapter. Some has like he said, there's a storyline.
Yeah.
So there might be some songs which, if you listen to one song particular, you just take it out and listen, then you might not find it as interesting. But if you continue from the last song, because there are some songs that continue from the previous music as well.
Yes.
They stop it and then they continue. It's almost like a pause.
Yeah.
So I think you can find it in Coldplay.
We have one of that on our album as well. So there's a song called ODE and Fallout.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's just a continuation of track.
It's just the ODE is an instrumental, then the Fallout is the actual song. But it's like two separate songs. No?
Okay.
So we did that because the song was too long, actually. I think it came to about 8 minutes.
Yeah. 5, 3.
So we made it into two entirely different songs, but if you listen to it on the album, it'll make a lot of sense to the audience as well, no? So actually, those two songs we put it out back in 2019 when we put out Fallout.
So one thing that I'll ask, I know what he has to answer, but I want him to speak, and I want the listeners to, what's the difference between that old polar lights that's been last few years back,
the Murder Machine polar lights and the album.
And the new. So what's the difference?
I think we've matured a lot on this album. I think maturity is a big thing, and back then when I started writing songs, especially with Murder Machine or one of our the Murder Machine, Beautiful Escape, I was writing songs about things that I in hindsight, I'll say had no authority, or I had no experience about the things that I was writing in the songs. Say with Murder Machine, I was writing about the world and how
random thoughts.
Random thoughts, but the things that I read about, not experienced it personally. So I was writing about things that
writing for someone else's perspective.
Exactly. Like while reading a book, you'll see, and we get to hear it a lot. No, the system is fucked up.
The
system is this, politics and all that. So
Red pill, blue pill,
exactly what like this was back in 2013. So I was probably around 20-year-old, and I had no experience with what
reality.
Exactly. I had no experience with reality because back then, no, honestly speaking, I had nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Looking back now.
Because I had nothing to complain about. I have like very good parents. They support me. They do everything. Along, he knows them very well. So my parents are very supportive of the things that I do. And, I had nothing to complain about. And I was talking about all these things in the song. So, not saying that it's a bad thing, but I think I had no personal experience with the things that I was singing about. But especially on this album, I'm talking about a lot of things that I experienced personally. I experienced firsthand. So this album talks a lot about anxiety, mental health, and just depression. Along knows that period of mine as well. So I was going through some very tough times with anxiety. I was on medication as well. So I was getting frequent panic attacks, and I was angry. I just dropped out of college, so I had nothing. I did not have anything to do. Like I feel like dropping out of college was a good thing for me. I'm not necessarily putting it out there that everyone drop out of college, but I think because I dropped out of college, I was able to do so many other things, not just music, but other things as well. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think with this album, especially, it's we've gone through a lot of changes. Some of us in the band, our guitarist is a father now.
Okay.
Your brother?
My elder brother, he's a father. He has a daughter. I have a niece. Then, especially, we all had to live through a pandemic.
Yeah.
And just experiences like that. And with the album, I just want people to talk about. I mean, it's being talked about now, but I want people to talk about it. More with just mental health issues, because with my anxiety, with my panic attacks, I make sure that I go and tell everyone I know that I have these issues. So after I went about telling other people that I have this, I'd get calls from my friends, from my friend that has a friend who's going through these issues as well. So I'll tell them, go give them my number, I'll just talk to them. And I think it's me talking about it helped a lot of people as well. So I think with the album, that's something that it's very important to us, that we stay true to our emotions and all of these things. Now, I think that's what separates us, our Polar Lights, 2013 Polar Lights and 2022 Polar Lights. I think that's the main difference, that we're actually right now we're talking about things that we've gone through personally and have first-hand experience of. So that's
what we can expect.
So that's what everyone else can expect.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, especially with the album, and even with the reason behind why we called it To Feel Human.
Yeah, that's
so. With the way we went about recording the album as well, we made sure that I talked about it last night also, but I think it's important that everyone else knows about this. We made sure that we recorded everything live, as in from the drums to the guitars. To my vocals, and with the synths, the guitar, the bass, the sounds that we have on the album, we made sure that we did it on our own and not, coming from a computer, not being produced by a computer. Because these days we can do a lot with the computer as well, no? So that was very important. We wanted our album to feel human, like literally.
Literally.
Exactly. And we wanted to connect with the audience. We wanted our audience to know that there was an actual person, playing the instruments and singing and all that, no? So that was...
Yeah, the umph of the live recording can be heard.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Throughout.
And even writing the album, it's taken me into some very dark places, and at the same time, it's dragged me out of it. And I think it's having to live through all of these moments in life, like just issues, good and bad, I think is what makes us human. No?
Yeah,
true.
So taking all of this into perspective, and we felt it was very appropriate and fitting to call the album To Feel Human. I think that's the story behind why
and
we
like you said, like issues, living through issues and all mental health and everything. So there was this research done, and the research found that musicians and artists, they live 25 years lesser than the average population. So why would you think that is, and how can we stop that?
I think musicians, not just musicians, but I think artists, very creative people, they're very sensitive
Yeah.
to issues. And I think because I was going, when I had my issues, when I was going through a very, when I was getting anxiety attacks, panic attacks, so I had met not a therapist, but a doctor that my sister, she's my sister-in-law's cousin.
Okay.
So she was actually the one that diagnosed me with having anxiety issues and all that, no? So
Really, he was thinking that it was a heart attack.
So I was thinking I was getting a stroke, or maybe because
You thought it was something physical.
Yeah.
So she told me that, and that connected with me a lot, because she told me that creative people, they're very sensitive to issues, and they're very, in a way, very insecure, especially with, not just with issues and all that, but say for example, there's a new artist that pops out in Nagaland. I think most musicians would not admit this, but if there's a new artist that pops out, and very good artist, I guarantee you all of them will be insecure.
Yeah.
The good ones.
Yeah.
And I've had that experience myself. Because we're always in music, especially, not necessarily competing with each other, but we want to be the best in any field. If you're if you're very serious about the things that you're
putting your effort
competitive
into
with
it.
the art. Yeah.
So I think musicians in a way are very insecure, and no one will say this out loud, but I think that's something
You just
that
said it out loud.
exactly.
Is there any way we can stop musicians from dying 25 years earlier than the general population?
I think somebody has to do.
Is that a genuine research?
Yeah. I read about the whole thing.
Fuck
recently.
man, then I'll have to start growing. I'll have to start doing something else. Yeah.
No, he's already a farmer.
Yeah.
He does.
Oh, nice.
I told you, right?
Nice. Farmer. He has like this dragon fruit farming thing. So talk about the whole.
No, he has a company also.
So I mean, not necessarily. It's not necessarily
cooperative.
Just, So we have this. So it was during lockdown. So I had no intentions of getting myself involved in farming and all that. But my dad, he started. He wanted to do, because he was about to retire. So after retirement, he wanted to do something that would just take up his time, and because he enjoys farming a lot as well.
Yeah.
So he started the farm. Then once pandemic hit, because before pandemic I was doing a lot with music, and my time was mostly just music before pandemic. But once pandemic hit, I was not able to go and perform. Of course I was able to write songs, but we couldn't go out and perform live and all that. So during that time I got myself, I wanted to do something. So during that time I started going to the farm and just working on the farm, seeing how I did a lot of research on what the dragon fruit farming as well, because it was already started by my dad. So and slowly by slowly I started to get very interested in farming, not just dragon fruit but other things as well. Then
like making manure.
Manure.
Yeah, okay.
Composting and all that. No, vermicompost.
He was doing all
and I had no I had no knowledge, because I was not an agricultural student. As in I had no degrees, nothing. So I started researching it on YouTube. Why, so dragon fruit, it has this, with dragon fruit, it's the flower eventually becomes the fruit. So there's this budding early stages before fruiting.
Okay.
There's this bud that forms.
Okay.
A very small budding, we call that budding.
Okay.
Then it turns to a flower. Then once the flower is because it has this very short window of blooming, so it's during that time you'll have to go and pollinate.
Okay.
So the pollination is very important in dragon fruit farming and all that. Then I researching on why the flowers were falling, because they were not turning into fruits and all that. So I was doing so many things, just learning then. And I think because I was doing this, I decided to do dragon fruit. It gave me some time away from music as well, and I think that was something that I needed a lot.
A detox.
A detox, exactly. Because if you listen to our songs on the album, it's very depressing, no? I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, exactly, yes, it's very depressing. And just like that, because while writing the song, I'm usually not happy, or if I'm going through very tough times. I tend to write good songs, and that's something that scares me, because what if I'm happy and I'm not able to write songs? Exactly. So with dragon fruit, it gave me some time away from music, and just an outside look into how special that music is to me as well at the same time. And also just farming and just taking my mind away from doing music and doing something else. And along and over, the two of us, we talk a lot about not just music, but how just
very
business,
diverse,
how to grow.
I think that's something that, and
no, we even we even research on hydroponics as
hydroponics
well.
and all that.
Early days of hydroponics, before people went into mainstream. I'm sure in
a lot
Western
of people
countries they
now.
were already popular,
Even
but
in Nagaland they're doing it.
even in India,
Yeah.
it was so difficult to find a book on hydroponics. We bought
I still have that book at home.
so we bought hydroponics, and then we thought that it's not very practical here. I think now it's practical for cities and other urban places. But what I thought was, if you start at hydroponics and start giving all these vegetables in off season, what about those rural
Street vendors.
street vendors and all, they come and
Selling
sell
your
there.
food.
So that I thought out here it's not very
The
practical.
two of us, we've talked about doing a lot of
Oh,
things.
we even did. We even started this restaurant. As well.
The restaurant has got. What was the restaurant?
Fresh off the box.
Fresh off the box.
Fresh.
It never
FOB.
materialized.
Yeah.
Like
So there was no restaurant.
No, we rented
There
out
was
the
a
place.
we rented a place for 4 months. So we even
paid the rent as well.
Yeah,
no?
paid the rent.
But the restaurant never came to fruition.
No.
Yeah, we
Because
even sent
Along
our
had-
waiters and this,
Okay.
for training as well.
Plus, and it did not make sense back then.
Yeah,
When was this?
2000.
2018,
18.
I think. Yeah.
17, 18 between that.
Okay.
So we talked about opening up a restaurant, the hydroponic thing,
Yeah.
a juice bar as well.
Juice bar. And here we thought about opening a bar. So there will be a stage for, we're,
Okay.
it's kind of,
For performing.
we are performing for the artists.
But I think not doing those things, I think if we did actually do those things, we would have, of course it'd be a learning process, as in we'd learn a lot of things, but I think we would not get the time to do all of the things that we're doing now.
Exactly.
So I think it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not the start or not the stop. We'll just keep on continuing. But
We'll always keep talking about doing something.
no, but we will actually do it.
Even
No,
this,
we did it so far. We did
Yeah.
together.
yeah,
if
but
it was a
even this
short span.
podcast was started just over chatting, and then he was discussing, should we keep a name
man.
like this, and then as soon as he said okay, Fabled Talks Podcast, I went home, I created the logo, I registered everything else, I created the pages, claimed everything. So it just stays like that, no? So we have to act on it fast.
I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Especially now,
But I
everyone
think-
has ideas every day.
So there are things that we find out when we do research, right? So even for the hydroponics thing, it's not like we didn't want to do. We wanted to do actually, but then once we started doing research and all, we found that it's not very practical. So research is necessary.
Of course.
Imagine if we had started without doing a research, we might feel like we might have spent lots of our time and money as well.
Even if we say we started the hydroponic thing or the restaurant, you would have never gone to Guwahati. You would have never worked with East Mojo.
Yeah, I would never got
this
that much
podcast would never.
I would have never met you.
There would be no Fabled Talks.
Yeah. So everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And that's how we have to accept life. So
but what's next for you guys? What are you doing next?
lots of things. Getting married.
To each other?
No. Not to each other. To his girlfriend. No, yeah. We
just have to figure it out, man. Take things
go with the flow
day by day. Yeah.
I mean,
But we have plans to do so many things.
yes. We'll do it.
Once we're able to establish our feet. We can
put our feet on the ground.
Because right now we're doing so many things, especially with Along and myself as well. Not just music, but other things as well. So I think.
So apart from music and dragon fruit, what else are you doing? Not dragon fruit, farming.
Growing up.
Just growing up. So I spend a lot of my time in the farm, and we have this tea garden as well in our native village. So I go there as well, and some other things that I don't want to speak about. Like Along knows about it very well.
Okay. And what are your plans with the band and your music? Like, is this forever? Like, as long as you can, not forever.
Yeah, as long as we can, I think we want to do it with the music.
Okay.
Because I'll never stop writing music, or I'll never stop thinking about music.
I'm sure to do cut you. I'm sure that you have learned a lot. Like back in 2013, you have learned a lot with this album. So what are the changes that you would like to make when you work on the new stuff in the coming years?
I think on the new album, I'd like to work with a producer from,
experience.
An experienced producer that just maybe take a little load from the band, and because writing the album was like excruciatingly exhausting. With the time and everything else, no. So that's actually one of the reasons why it took us so long to put out an album, because we had to do it all on our own. So the next time we do an album, I want to work with a very established producer. Then,
do you have anyone in mind?
Right now, not really, man. But I
You'll
just
find
want
along the way.
We'll have to figure that out.
I'm sure, after this album, many producers will be coming approaching them.
Hopefully,
we would like to produce for you. Are you working on new stuff? So
because
we can look forward.
For this album, we wrote roughly close to about 25 songs.
Okay.
Not all finished products.
Ideas.
Some of them are finished. Along actually one of his favorite songs is not on the album. Did not make it on the album.
Release it as a single.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, I think we'll do that, or maybe because an album cycle usually is just 6 to 8 months. I feel like these days, because earlier people could just keep on putting singles out from the album for like 2 years and maybe start working on the new album. But in times like this, I think it's 6 months for a band like us from Nagaland. If if we have a bigger reach, I think it'll go longer. But I think 6 months. Uske baad, I think we'll start working on the new album as well.
Okay.
So our plan is to keep on putting out albums.
How many music videos are you planning for this album?
For this album, I think we wanted to do four music videos.
Okay. And all releasing within
this 6 months period.
No, like about this year, or like we'll move on to the next year also?
Because we're putting out a music video this month with the album. Okay. I think we'll put it out before the album comes out.
Okay.
Yeah, the Castles.
Castles,
no? Yeah, the teaser is already out.
It's already out. Then once that's done, we'll maybe shoot. We've begun talking with one Nagaland. It's these guys only. So for a music video with those guys, then 2 more.
Okay.
Then maybe.
So it'll roll into next year, I think.
Probably. Okay. Then finish the album. Uske baad.
Oh yeah, I'm also excited about t-shirts that you're wearing.
Merch. Yeah.
I'm the only one that has it right now.
Where's your badge? You gave him a badge yesterday.
No, that was home. I should have.
So we wanted to put out more merch, and T-shirts, hoodies, hats,
Socks, you were talking about
socks as well.
I like the idea of socks.
So this merch. So you
Very
know
cool.
the whole Sidemen clothing thing, right? So this merch, do you want to put it just as a merch or as a clothing brand?
Can't put it
I
as
think
a clothing.
everyone would prefer the clothing brand, no?
But is the like, do you actually plan on expanding into
Of
like
course,
that
of course.
kind? Yeah. Okay.
We want. I think we'd like to do, because merch usually for a band is just T-shirts and hoodies, no?
Yeah.
And any like the local ones or.
Yeah.
So I think we want to do more, as in not just T-shirts and hoodies, but maybe a complete
Apparel. Yeah.
apparel. Yeah. I think there's this. You probably know as we keep searching.
Yeah.
They're one of the bands that do it. I think they have Zia clothing line or something. I think it was Zia.
Okay.
So they have their like the whole clothing, as in with their
Top to
pants,
bottom,
shirts and all that. No,
yeah. Okay.
just very, but they have very good designs, very good.
I think, do you need to get some designers and
I think we should. I think we must.
no?
Because what can we do? No, just take take this logo and put it to a T-shirt. That's what.
Yeah.
True.
So I think we'll have to collaborate with someone that actually knows fashion and.
Actually, there are lots of designers, like small time designers in Nagaland. Not only just in Nagaland,
Northeast. Yeah.
I'd love to collaborate with one of them, man.
Yeah.
And
So
when do you plan to start working on your like solo projects and all?
I don't know, man, but hopefully once this album cycle is on, because I'm like always working on my solo things.
Okay.
It's just if I can find the time to just record
Finish it.
and yeah.
Okay.
I have a couple songs that started out like I started out writing those songs for the band Polar Lights, but eventually I felt like it was
Too personal.
not too personal, but not Polar Lights. So that's why I decided to keep it on to myself.
Okay.
I want to do a lot of J. Cole type, very conscious
Hip hop.
hip not necessarily hip hop, because I can't
You
rhyme.
can?
Yeah, as in
You can.
to a certain extent maybe I
Yeah.
can, but I can't like go like bar for bar
Obviously, yeah.
because I think I watch a lot of these reaction videos on YouTube with like every time J. Cole puts out a song,
Yeah.
like there'll be a lot of reaction
But
videos.
like that is his brand.
Exactly.
That is his brand.
But I idolize J. Cole a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
J.
what
Cole.
other artists from Northeast would you say that you listen to?
From the Northeast, I listen to a lot of, especially hip hop,
Okay.
especially the Shillong scene. No,
Yeah, man. So
I
good.
really like the hip hop that's coming out of Shillong.
Shillong. Imagine like few years back it's just called a rock capital,
Hmm.
and now hip hop took off.
But
from
Shillong has a very diverse scene, as in they have an audience for all genres. I feel that's
Yeah.
that's one good thing about
No,
Shillong.
even for the blues,
Yeah,
jazz.
they have blues,
I
jazz,
think
reggae.
evening club Shillong,
Mhm.
no?
It's one of the
they
most,
host-
as in the Northeast. I think that's very well known.
yeah.
Evening club.
They bring very diverse. They even bring like comics. This Virdas was there last few months back.
Who Virdas?
Yeah,
Evening club.
yeah, he was there.
Wow. Damn.
So I got to know only after the show. I think it was a very small show.
Okay.
Like
I think that even in Nagaland, the people call it an industry here in Nagaland, but I don't think it's an industry. It's a community. I feel it's
Music?
Okay.
more
Yeah.
of a community than an industry. But there are a bunch of very good artists who's doing very well.
Abdon.
Abdon. There are a lot of good artists. Abdon, Trends Effect,
Street Stories.
Street Stories, of course.
Yeah.
Street Stories. Imliakam as well. He's a very good songwriter. Jonathan, his elder sister Peleno.
Yes.
And I think that we have the hip hop scene here in Nagaland as well.
Yeah.
Right, it'll eventually get there, but I think still. But with Moko and all, I think they're doing
Yeah.
very well.
Mm,
Moko,
yeah.
Koza,
Mogogogo.
and there's Big Dean as
Big
well.
Ten, no? Yeah, I think I often listen.
Because in
to-
Nagaland, I think we do very well on YouTube.
Yes.
Yes.
People tend to watch.
Huh.
If you are local artist
Yeah.
or thing like that, then they tend to
All
watch.
over Northeast, it's a thing.
Yeah. And imagine, that's what I was telling you guys about. Now people, from other countries, even from, I saw one white guy, I don't know who is that guy. He makes a reaction video on Northeast musicians.
There are a lot of people like Americans, Europeans, they do
even for the recent incident that happened with Yutoripa. So the reaction video, or the disappointment they were sharing, we're all from Pakistan. Pakistan YouTubers. I was like,
because we have a very big audience here.
Yes.
As in the Indian market, no? I think.
And I think one thing is like, people are so unemployed. All they do is sit on the phone and keep watching,
complaining about everything.
That's what. But I feel like we still have a lot of space to grow in Nagaland with the music and all of that.
But there has been lots of like
street stories that they were from Shillong. They actually initially they started based out of Shillong, but now they're in Dimapur. They're very good friends. They're working on an album as well.
Acha.
And I've listened to some of the songs. They're very punk.
Yeah.
I really enjoy those guys live.
I've never seen them live. I would really love them.
If you really want to get that street story experience, you'll have to go and see them play live. Because the on-stage banter that they have between them and also the crowd, it's like something else.
Okay.
What is the craziest thing you have seen them do?
At a show, what's the...
They have a song called Chinky, man.
That is like...
We've heard it.
Chinky.
They have a song called Chinky. Then I remember they were playing... I was telling Along also this story. So they were playing Dimapur Music Festival just a couple of weeks back. So I was there. And after one song, the vocalist Pezzo is like, right now I'd like to give the time to our bass, Rico. He's his elder brother. I'd like to give the time to Rico and give you all a very motivational and inspirational speech. So Rico, he came up to the mic, he's like,
very serious.
Okay guys, it's not how did you put it? It does not matter. It does not matter if you're rich, if you're poor, if you have a big expensive car, if you have money, if you're fat, if you're thin, because at the end of the day, it's night. And he started playing. The next song. So the banter, I think it's like the banter that they have on stage, no?
End of the day, it's night. Yeah.
Man, how did I miss out on all this stuff?
Have you had any crazy fan experience yet?
Not really, man. Crazy fan experience. No crazy fan experience. We're not.
No, but there have been times where people would like just walk up to you on the street and then say
sometimes
not a crazy fan experience, but like the craziest experience with a fan that you had.
That you wouldn't have expected.
The craziest fan experience, I wouldn't call it that, but there was this time when we put out our first song, Murder Machine. So it was on everybody else's. Back then we had no Spotify, nothing. No, so it wasn't, because people had to actually download the song and listen to it. No, so it was like everyone I knew, everyone had downloaded the song, and everyone knew like all the words to the song. So we did this show in Kohima. So there was one of our first shows in Kohima that we did, and so the Murder Machine, we played the song. We played that song towards the end of our set list. When I started playing that song, I think there were around 400 people. I think 400 to 300 people.
Okay.
Every one of them knew that song, and everyone else was singing. And you only get to, you hear about people singing their songs from other like big artists, but actually getting one of your songs, sung by so many people,
and line to line,
once in a lifetime experience. Because even to this day, with Murder Machine, I think we will never be able to top that song.
Is that your best song?
Personally, no.
Best received song.
Best received song. Because I think with that song, it was the timing that we put the song out, and the scene that we had here in Nagaland. So I think it was timing with that song was everything. So everyone was talking about it, and just like I was saying earlier, like it sort of skyrocketed the band into another level, and people had so many expectations back then. And we were, honestly, we never lived up to it, especially with the live performances and all that. No.
Okay.
So I think once the song was out, we had this ego where we were better than everyone else because we were able to write a song like Murder Machine and all that. No. So once we started
murdered you guys.
exactly that song. It sort of, it took us.
It truly was your Murder Machine.
We were up here. It dragged us down.
Yeah.
Told us to be a little bit more humble. Yeah. Start working on your live performances.
Yeah.
Do you think you've written your best song yet?
Lyrically, yes.
You have? And which one is it?
Castles.
Okay.
Because if people listen to it, like if you listen to it closely with your headphones and just listen to what the song is about, I feel like I'll never be able to write a song as personal and as personal as
honest.
Castles.
Even it's very honest as well.
It's very honest. It's very transparent, and that's something that I wanted to do on this album. On With To Feel Human. I wanted the songs to be as transparent as I wanted to get as transparent as I can with the art that I was creating. So I think if people listen to it, it's basically me dishing out all of my dirty laundry out into the world. Exactly. And for everyone else to see and just judge.
But that is more relatable than a made up story or a made up song about anything.
So I think Castles is one of the songs that I feel like it's one of my best songs, just as a songwriter.
So I'll ask you as someone, like to both of you as well. Even you put up your songs, your creative art thing, right? So how do you react when somebody, give negative comments? How, on...
If it's legit,
on social media.
If it's legit, you can listen to it. If you can tell that they are just...
So how do you know if it's legit or if it's not legit?
So I'll give you an example. So the last Storm song.
Okay.
So the second verse, my vocals are a bit over the place.
Okay.
So somebody pointed that shit out. So that thing I can take into consideration and be like, okay, I was wrong. The mixing is bad here. I can improve my mixing. And
so does it affect you in...
It betters
ways?
me, I would say.
Okay.
If it's a good, proper criticism, I think it betters me as an rapper.
That's a good way to take in.
Yeah. And what would you say?
Negative comments, I don't
Any
know,
negative feedback?
You never had?
Like that you've
No, of course I've had.
No, I know.
Earlier, you know what I used to do?
They were being called as Antichrist, man. Earlier, like few years back, so there were lots of things going on. People were talking about Antichrist. I don't know if it was true or not. There were some on social media that I saw that people were putting up a form to join Antichrist. I don't know if it's some organization thing like that.
It's just, I think
so. Apparently,
those
during
were
that
done
time,
by kids. I feel like.
Yeah, it was done by kids.
Online forms for joining Antichrist.
No, I just saw a picture.
Okay.
It was a physical form.
Okay.
But somebody clicked a picture and then put it out on Facebook.
I think when all of us were kids, we tend to do a lot of those.
Yeah.
Weird stuff.
But then many people took it seriously.
A lot of people took it seriously.
Yeah. And then apparently they had to, during the time they were performing, they were people were talking about their music and all in Nagaland.
I think that tagline, that Antipolar Lights, I think with how people associated us with, not necessarily Antichrist, but people, they call us Illuminatis. That we were part of that secret society, the Illuminati.
Illuminati.
So I think that was because there's a line in the song called Murder Machine. So it's it goes, come along, we've got a long way to go. Just write your names in blood and watch your stories unfold.
Okay.
You get what I mean? So I think people associated that line with us having just Antichrist or something, because if you write your names in blood and you watch your stories unfold, as in you become successful, that's like selling your soul to the devil.
To the devil.
Something in that.
Did you have that intention when you wrote that?
Not really, man.
Did you start music with the intention of joining the Illuminati?
If that makes me successful, of course, man.
No, but there was this
There's no discussion around that.
Yeah.
And also during that time, this Dreams Unlimited. So I'm coming back to what he said about like Murder Mission being on the timing. Timing is very important.
Yeah.
So during that Dreams Unlimited, they were actually they were growing, and then during that time they put out a episode, a short film. It was regarding this on Antichrist, how to join Antichrist. You remember that Reverend Frederick's? That took them to another level.
Okay.
So that was the timing.
That went like viral everywhere.
It went viral everywhere.
And of course, the content was very funny,
very funny,
entertaining at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think like he was saying, timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
Especially with if you're putting out content out into the
social media,
into the world. I think timing matters a lot.
So on this new album, like we've talked about, you've touched on mental health and all that. Like most people will live with what they're going with instead of like sharing their pain,
talking about it.
Yeah.
So there's this whole stigma. So like, how would you say that a person's taste in music helps someone connect more, or through a song or an album? Like, how can a person who is going through something connect more? I'm saying with you because it's like the album is based off like mental health and all. So how can someone who is going through that stuff
Connect
relate to
the
you?
I think with the things that I'm talking about on the album, I feel like it's universal. Just the issues that I'm talking about, me, dropping out of college. Not everyone drops out of college. Like, and there's so many people that do, and especially in India, I think if you drop out of college, it's looked at. It's not looked at from positive. It's not looked at positively. So I'm not saying
people don't ask you reason. People forget about like supporting you for dropping out. They don't even ask you what was the reason you drop out.
What do you want to do? What do you
put you in the label.
Luckily for me, I had a conversation with my dad, and it's like, you can do that. You can drop out of college. Of course, he told me that he won't be, happy that I did it. But if you're doing it, do it for the right reasons. And like, be sure of what you want to do with your life.
And you did it for music, right?
I did it for music, and I wanted to do other things as well. Because I can guarantee you that if I was still doing my engineering, if I was an engineering student, I'd first of all never have been able to do music. I would have never been able to write the songs that I've written, say Murder Machine or the songs on the album. So I would have never been. Most of all, I think I would not have been happy.
Okay.
So much important to be happy.
And I think that's very important, to be satisfied or to be happy with what you're doing. And
irrespective of outcome.
Irrespective of outcome. Of course, it matters to a certain
certain level, but it stays for a short time. We have to learn to accept that. Because result will not define us.
Yeah.
It's how we, cope up with things. Even the result is good, bad. It doesn't matter. But you learn how to accept it.
Exactly.
Learn how to cope it. So
I think if you follow what you do, or if you're really passionate about something and you do it, I feel like in some way the universe, it reciprocates.
True.
Yeah.
Not like if you put all your energy and passion into doing something that you love. One day I feel like the universe, it reciprocates, and it gives you back.
Yeah.
Like all the hard work that you've done.
What goes around,
maybe not
turns
monetarily.
around.
Not monetarily, not in but I think just with the satisfaction, and just with your happiness, your mental health, and all of those things. And I think it took me a very long time to accept it, because I dropped out of college, I was still in the back of my mind, I was worried, like, what if I'm not able to do anything with the music that I have, or the other things? What if I was like having battles with myself with, what if my dad is like, just so many things.
Yeah.
So that's how Castles was born, actually.
Okay.
If you listen to it, I talk about me dropping out of college, me disappointing my dad, and having two brothers, talking about them, and all of those things. So yeah.
And about his girlfriend.
My girlfriend is yeah. If you listen to it properly, people will get to know exactly what I'm talking about.
how like since like you came out of that cocoon and like you're talking about mental health and all that. So for people who struggle with that, how would you like say they should go about it?
I think everyone will have their own way of dealing with mental. But the most important thing I feel is having a very good support system around you. And if you don't have that, maybe just talk to someone that has gone through. Like you can, if you're going through, if someone that's watching this episode is going through, very serious mental health issues, they can always DM me on Instagram because I'm always available there. Just if we are going to have a good conversation, talk about, I can talk to. And there are so many self-help groups as well, like Serenity Guardians and all that.
Who are very close friends with us.
So I think it's very important that you find someone to talk to with mental health.
Yeah.
And I feel like people these days are coming, they're coming forward as well.
Yeah, more
because
and more.
Earlier it used to be looked at as
it was a stigma.
It was stigma. Because sometimes I wonder, because of course there was mental health issues during our our parents, just our grandparents, our parents is
the generation.
But sometimes I wonder how they dealt with all of these things.
We talked about that, like they didn't have conversations like this, like the previous generations, and they never had, like if someone was even going through anything, they were just termed as crazy.
Exactly. Mad.
Village madman.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
But I think, and mental health these days, I think, with the information that's out there with Instagram, with social media, social media in general, it's sort of, everyone, if you look at an Instagram story from a friend's Instagram story, he's like, say in a vacation, he's on vacation doing so many things, and you're home, in your room, just watching it, and we tend to get insecure. These guys, they're living their life.
Yes.
But we're here, we're doing nothing.
Yeah.
But like, and if you go to them, maybe they're not happy, maybe they're there, but not actually,
It's just, you
it's very deceptive.
It is actually, last night I had a conversation with a junior of mine. So she's out on a trip, but she texted me like, I'm feeling a void, like I'm surrounded by people, but I feel so empty. So that is also something, like being surrounded by people and yet not being surrounded by people.
Maybe they do it thinking that it will be escape.
True.
But if you don't actually go deal with it directly,
I think we have to face it.
You'll have to face it.
There's no other way. There's no plan B to face mental health.
I think just approaching and just talking. Because for me personally, the support system that I had around me, especially with Along, I was able to talk to him directly and just tell him all of the, just the issues that I was going through. And with my girlfriend as well.
Yeah.
So like I was able to talk to them. And when I had a problem, like because I would, people could notice that I was going through something. But my dad, my mom, they couldn't just come up to me and talk. Because we never had that relationship where like, we were very open or something. These days it's gotten much better. Like back then, all of us, the three brothers, all of us grew up in hostels, all of us in boarding school. So we were never really able to, build that relationship with our parents, as in, not being able to. I feel like that happens to a lot of people as well, but not being able to tell your parents directly that you're going through all of these things. So what my mom used to do is talk to Along. She would call him Along up and talk to him. Is he going through all of it?
Yeah.
But they were very
initial days, what happened to me? I never had experience. I never had a friend who is going through all those things. I don't understand because I have not gone through, like mental health issue, fortunately. So I didn't know how to react.
It's coming.
No. I know how to escape. I know how to escape. Anyway, so I didn't know how to, receive, how to react to whatever he's saying. So there's this one joke where I keep on saying, initial days when he was having panic attack. So he didn't know it was a panic attack.
Okay.
So later on we came to know, he's having some anxiety problem, some depression, and, all these things. Then one day he was, we were driving. He usually drive. I sit in the front seat,
Oh.
and then he was talking to me about all these things. And I didn't know what to say. I just said, please, don't say like fuck life and turn the car and turn the cliff down the cliff. I don't want to die. That's what I said.
But one very good thing about him is that he's a very great listener and he notices these things very well.
That's what I wanted to say is that you don't have to give advice or
exactly.
Like that. Just listen.
Listening is the most important part.
Not listening to reply, like listening to understand. Yeah.
If you're talking, because if they're giving advice, because when I was going through all of these things, some people will come up to me and they'll tell me, "Hey, you're mentally very weak. You think about these things a lot.
Too much.
You think too much." They say, people say stuff like that, and it's not like we want to think about those things.
Yeah.
Because in fact we want to escape and just get better.
Yeah.
Like it's your mind that's
mind is independent itself, so you can't control that. That's the thing about mind.
And I think with me, working out and meditation helped me a lot. With just keeping myself calm. And just keeping my mind occupied and doing all of those activities, I think working out and meditation also, it's a big part of me just recovering. I'm still dealing with all of these issues. I'm able to manage all of this a lot better, especially with my panic attacks and all that. So actually, my first panic attack that I had was so I was on vacation with my family. So we were traveling from Shimla to Manali.
Okay.
By road. So in the middle of nowhere, I started to get panic attacks.
Okay.
So I had no idea that that it was a panic, because I started palpitating and all of those things. So I thought in my mind, I was like, this is definitely a heart attack. I think my time has come. I think
this is
this is it. So I stopped the driver. I stopped the driver. I came out, and in my mind I was like, if I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna die here in this place that I'm not familiar. Or if I'm gonna die, I'm not gonna die in Himachal. I'll have to. If I die, I'm gonna go back to Nagaland and die there. I had this thinking.
Okay.
Then luckily there was a hospital close by to where we stopped. So around 15-20 kilometers from where we were. So we'd gone to the hospital. I had my ECG, echo, all of the tests done because I thought it was a heart attack. So I had all of these tests, blood tests, everything came out normal. And with panic attacks, with panic attacks, it resembles the symptoms of stroke.
Yeah, seizures and strokes.
Stroke, heart attacks. So I started to Google, especially, and if anyone is going through panic attacks, do not Google your symptoms, because everything you read, it manifests.
Yeah.
So I started to read that, with heart attack, people that are that are going to get a heart attack or something, your left arm or your left shoulder it start to ache. You'll have this very prickly tingly sensation on your left arm. Then your back will start to hurt. So once I read those things, I started to get these aches. I had this very tingly sensation and all of those things. So in the hospital I had my ECG, everything taken, everything came out normal.
Okay.
So the doctor, he prescribed me some very strong anxiety pills. So for the rest of the vacation I was like high. So I remember bits and pieces of the vacation, but I was on very heavy duty medication during that time.
Do you enjoy it at that time?
No, man. I was worried about my health, man. So I had gone after that. We drove back to Delhi. Then we'd gone to a hospital there in Delhi as well, Fortis. So I met with a doctor there, and up until, so this was during December. So up until after we came back to Nagaland, I'd gone to so many doctors. Nobody was able to tell me what my problem was. So only after I came back to Nagaland, I had met with my sister-in-law's cousin sister, who's a doctor. She diagnosed me with having anxiety issues and all that. Only after that I was able to calm down, and then after that, along knows, I started working out. I started meditating and all that. And right now I'm able to control, or just manage stress, manage my stress a lot better. So I think with everyone else, talking to someone and being sure about just these things, I think will help a lot of people.
Just you have an outlet to your art.
Exactly. So, just having, especially, and I feel like with music, it's sort of like a release for me. So if I'm able to express myself in the songs, I feel like it's like me moving forward with having all of these issues and moving forward and being okay with having all of these issues. I think that's I think one thing that I'm very fortunate to have, or an outlet like music that I'm able to express my feelings in songs. No? Yeah. But anyways, listen to our album.
Yeah. And on that note, he has made this album to very...
Okay, tell me your guys's your reaction, or what you felt with after listening to Feel Human.
Okay. You first?
Before we wrap.
You are the new one, so
because he's heard most of the songs.
Yeah, okay.
Besides a couple ones.
I think it's the third or the fourth song. It literally gave me goosebumps. I was like watching all of my arm hair going up. The one where like leaving a note by bedroom.
Okay, side. Trojan.
So that song is like very, and the last, of course, it's a very beautiful. Like I didn't bob my head at all. I was just listening to the lyrics. So it's a very beautiful song. Lyrically, it's a very beautiful song.
Full of hope.
Yeah.
I call it the song. If I was supposed to go, I would call hope.
If
I was an artist,
no, you'd call it colors
and rainbows.
So your debut song, Colors.
For me, I've listened to most of his songs when they were performing live. So I think there are few changes and few songs that I've listened to. Trojan was one song that I really liked. It was like I've already mentioned earlier. And what they did with this Perfect View. Very wonderful. I think I'm sure many people will love that song.
Yeah. It's a great song. It's a beautiful
and
song.
And please, everyone who is listening to the song when the album is out, use your headphones, earphones.
Exactly.
Don't listen. You are doing injustice to the music.
Yes. And
when you're listening to your phone speaker, okay?
Yeah.
Please don't listen from your phone speaker. That's a humble request to everyone listening.
And also anyone who listens to it, like try to listen to the whole body.
Yeah,
body of work at once, because it's better when you take in every song sequentially and how the band intended to be. So
exactly,
that's what it is.
So on that note, I think we'll wrap this up.
Sure.
And we'll be doing this again.
Yeah, we'll be doing this again. We've talked about bringing him on on a monthly basis.
so you'll have to pay me how much? So now we'll have to start making contracts though.
Yeah.
45 lakhs.
We'll come to your
if we can,
Dragon farm, and then we'll work for you for 1 week. Manual labor
service in exchange for service.
It'll be nice if we can do it here in the studios,
Yeah.
Make it like a sort of a mini vacation for you guys every weekend. Maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Just hang out, just talk about things. And we can get other people as well.
Yes.
People that be
definitely. True. We're looking forward.
So, wrapping this up, check out Polar Light's new album, Feel
Human.
The Feel Human.
And, this is
Jam Studio
11, and I hope we'll catch you again in the same spot again very soon. Thank you so much for listening, and subscribe, like, comment, share, and listen to the podcast on all of the streaming platforms available. And thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem, bro. Thank you so much.
And we'll looking forward to having you back again soon.
Sure. And subscribe to our channel as well. We're on Instagram.
Subscribe to Polar Lights. Listen to them on Spotify. Everything. All of that links will be in the description. Peace.